yo, Travi, what's up?
It's the hashtag Simply Cyber, COMMUNITY. Here to break the cycle, this is vital more than you and I. Yeah, it's exciting, it don't matter what your title is. You can grab a friend or two or three or four, invite them in. It's the Simply Cyber, bring a good vibe. It's that live with Jerry every morning, having good time. And you know we love to see for you, just gotta go and get it. Yeah, you know we all believe in you, it's time to grow together. It's that Simply Cyber, bring a good vibe. It's the live with Jerry every morning, having good times. And you know we love to see for you, just gotta go and get it. Yeah, you know we all believe in you, it's time to grow together. Dr. Auger is an OG, got that potion in your elixir, got devotion to all those who keep on showing up to witness, fit the tricks and quits and all the tips to raise your cyber fitness, switching up the routines, pass it off to James quicker, keep the people smiling, hit that follow, that's a good decision. Every week, today, tomorrow, I encourage y'all to listen. We gon' teach y'all way more than how to protect yourselves from phishing, more like being confident so you can recognize a vision. On a mission, it's official, we gon' get through all these issues. Time for jaw-jacking, baby, this is more than a tradition, yeah. Oh, I can't forget to recognize the mods. They the engine, they the reason that you leave and feeling charged. It's that Simply Cyber, bring a good vibe. It's that live with Jerry every morning, having good time. And you know we love to see for you, just gotta go and get it. Yeah, you know we all believe in you, it's time we grow together. It's that Simply Cyber, bring a good vibe. It's that live with Jerry every morning, having good time. And you know we love to see for you, just gotta go and get it. Yeah, you know we all believe in you, it's time we grow together. Yeah. What else can I say? I hope you find some value in this place and have yourself an awesome day. Simply Cyber's here to stay. So let's all put our hands together ready. Time to hang with Dr. A.
All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the studio. Today is Friday, January 31st, 2025. This is episode 804. I'm pretty strongly, hold on. This is episode 804 of your Simply Cyber Daily Cyber Threat Brief podcast. I am your host, Dr. Gerald Auger. Marcus Kyler of the Yeet Crew. What up? Hey, listen. Over the next hour, me, you, Marcus Kyler, Nerman, DJ B-Sec behind the glass, Ms. Julian up in the great New England area, Augusta Delgado, Phil Stafford, my man Evans, and Rhonda Rummerfield down in the low country, W. Crooks 42, Code Brew in the upstate, Augusta Delgado, Reed Hurlburt, who's just dominating the CTF space. We're all going to be shredding the top cybersecurity news stories of the day, and I'll be giving my expert opinion and analysis on each of the stories, on what it means to you as a practitioner, meaning what can you do with this information we're about to tear apart in order to level up your career, drive cyber risk reduction for your business stakeholders, and all around continue feeding that monster that is desire and love for cybersecurity. We're going to be doing it. Shout out if you're a solo operator, hashtag team solo in chat. If you're a lone wolf working the desk, whether it's InfoSec or IT, know that the Simply Cyber community is a virtual coworkers that you can jive with and bounce ideas off of. Know that you're not alone. We are all about support, inclusion, and empowerment here. And that's not just a bunch of buzzwords we printed out and stuck on the sign by the front door. So when you walk in, you're like, oh, these people have brand values. No, we live them, we exhibit them, and we want you to know we got your back. Just like we got the back of all those in chat right now looking to break into the industry. We got you covered. You're going to be asked in any job interview, how do you stay current? Ding, 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 ding. Get this, man, a teddy bear. The Daily Cyber Threat Brief is an absolute banger of an answer if you engage, if you absorb what we're talking about. And don't not say hello. Don't be shy. Don't be a lurker. Imposter syndrome, check it at the door with your jacket and get in here and say hello. I'm telling you, the community is epic, and we are all about good times and helping each other out. That's what this show is about. Let's go. Now, I want you to know I don't prep or research for any of the episode that we're about to do. You know what I did prep? I prepped a cup of coffee. And by cup, it's a full pot. Mrs. Auger got me a smaller version of the super mug, since the super mug required two hands like I was a toddler. And I know Team Sippy Cup's a thing, but, you know, I didn't need a 5-gallon Joe bucket here to drink coffee out of. So one French press fits in one of these cups right here. I am locked and loaded, and I'm built for speed, baby. So I want you to know before we get into the show, that every episode of the Daily Cyber Threat Brief is brought to you by the show's sponsors. Those InfoSec businesses, there's a lot of good ones out there, but the ones that we choose to align with are phenomenal. And I do want to say shout out and love to them really quickly before we dig in just a little bit. So before we get into it, let me talk about Flare for a second. Now, Flare.io is a cyber threat intelligence platform, not to be confused with Flare, the awesome reverse engineering crew over at Mandiant. That's for some of the folks in chat. Let's do 30 seconds with Flare. I'm telling you, I use Flare, love myself some Flare. It's actually kind of bananas what they can do. Flare, 30 seconds. We'll be right back. And when we get back, I'm going to tell you, Carrie, and Augusta, and Haircut Fish, and James Itakudo, and Clay Severance, and Brandon Corbin. I'm going to tell you exactly how this show right here is going to solve your CPE woes. Let's go. What's up, Simply Cyber? You know what keeps CISOs up at night? The unknown. Those exposed assets and leaked creds floating around the dark web that you don't even know about? Well, that's where Flare steps in. Think of Flare as your organization's amazing threat hunting capability, continuously scanning both clear and dark web for exposed enterprise assets, leaked secrets, and even compromised credentials being sold in private channels. Their cutting-edge platform, powered by transparent, generative AI, prioritizes real threats so your team can take immediate action. Stop playing catch-up with threat actors. Get ahead with Flare's threat exposure management capability. Don't take my word for it. Visit try.flare.io/simplycyber and try it for yourself. Sir, yes, sir, yes, sir. All right. Thank you so much, Flare. I'm telling you, the link's in the description below. Give it a shot. I promise you, you will not be disappointed. It's awesome. It basically gives you access to dark web intel, deep dark web intel and Telegram channels that you can't be a part of without having to build a sock puppet account and doing all of the bull crap associated with maintaining one of those accounts. Guys, I want to let you know that every single episode of the Daily Cyber Threat Brief, including this one right here, episode 804, the one where Space Tacos was talking about Flaming Donkey, the one where Devin McCarthy said good morning, that one is worth half a CPE. So how do you get that? Say hello in chat, first of all. So you can't be lurking. You got to be here. By saying hello in chat, just like Galia Libin did, hashtag Team SC, you grab a screenshot of it with it on stage. There's going to be me and my face. There's going to be you in your chat. Undeniable that you're here. File it away. Once a year, count up the screenshots, divide by 2, and you've got yourself some CPEs for days. Up to 120, I might add. Thank you, Kayla Surgeon, for running the math on that one. I love it. I love it. I love it. Oh, my God. Okay, guys, so it is Friday. Just so everybody remembers, every single day of the week has a special segment. And Fridays is going to be brought to you by James McQuiggan at 35,000 feet. He's in seat 3B, cruising quite comfortably up there, and he takes a minute out of his flight time to put up his seat back in his tray table, and then he drops a couple dad jokes on our brains. We absolutely love it. He's been doing it for years. So stay tuned for the mid-roll. That's going to be a lot of fun. And then also remember, at noon today, we are doing State of Simply Cyber. It's our quarterly, only a couple times a year we do it, quarterly meeting where it's open kimono, full transparency, all of the things. I'm going to tell you alongside the team what is going on with Simply Cyber in 2025. What can you get excited about? Guys, I've done 5 or 6 of these quarterly State of Simply Cyber meetings. This one is going to be memorable. This is an epic one. This is going to note a systemic shift in what's been going on here at Simply Cyber, all in a very good way. So if you like what we've been doing, I think you're going to love what we're going to be doing 100%. All right. Real quick, before we dive into the news, let's just say holler at Threat Locker. We're going to be at Zero Trust World here in just a few weeks. If you're going to be there, let me know. We're going to be raffling off 2 tickets to Zero Trust World in Orlando, Florida at the State of Simply Cyber. So at this event at noon today, we will be raffling off 2 $500 each vouchers, 2 tickets to paradise. Get in here. All right, let's do Threat Locker, and when we come back, we're going to launch the story, launch the news. So if you got to get coffee or whatever, go grab it. But let's do Threat Locker, and then let's lock in. It's like putting on your ski boots, like strap in, baby, because we're about to hit the go button. I want to give some love to the Daily Cyber Threat Brief sponsor, ThreatLocker. Do zero-day exploits and supply chain attacks keep you up at night? Well, worry no more. You can harden your security with ThreatLocker. Worldwide, companies like JetBlue trust ThreatLocker to secure their data and keep their business operations flying high. ThreatLocker takes a deny-by-default approach to cybersecurity and provides a full audit of every action allowed or blocked for risk management and compliance. Onboarding and operation is fully supported by their US-based Cyber Heroes support team. Get a free 30-day trial and learn more about how ThreatLocker can help prevent ransomware and ensure compliance. Visit threatlocker.com. All right, this is so good. This is so good. I'm so excited. Woo! All right, final. Guys, if today is your first episode, we get first timers every day. I got to tell you, low key, I freaking love it. I love it. I'm all about inclusion, and I love welcoming more people into the community. I know it's not for everybody, and that's okay. But for the people that it is for, get in here. There is always room. We will always make the circle bigger. There's always enough folding chairs in the back of the room for another person to grab one and get in here. Guys, do me a favor. Drop a hashtag first timer in chat. And chat, if you are here, once I get off and running, I might miss it. If you see a first timer, please, you know what to do, squad members. Space Tacos knows what to do. And I'll make sure
Welcome to the party.
I do everything that I can. Mods, let's go. Lock in. It's time to get busy. Let's let the cool sounds of the hot news wash over all of us in an awesome wave. I will see you guys alongside James McQuiggan at 35,000 feet at the mid-roll.
From the CISO series, it's cybersecurity headlines.
These are the cybersecurity headlines for
Legrat,
Friday,
that's so funny.
January 31st, 2025.
Whoa. Before we get anywhere, A7K, 8K, 6I. I'm not even going to pretend to sound that out. We're just going to say it is a word that you spell out. Welcome to the party, pal. We got a first timer in chat, ladies and gentlemen.
Welcome to the party, pal.
I'm Steve Prentice. New York Blood Center suffers ransomware attack. New York Blood Center Enterprises, one of the largest independent blood centers in the U.S., serving over 75 million people, discovered suspicious activity on its IT system on Sunday, and this was later confirmed as a ransomware incident by third-party cybersecurity experts. This has forced officials and staff to reschedule blood drives and implement other workarounds. No ransomware gang has yet taken credit for the attack, and the blood center itself says it is still accepting blood donations.
Oh, yeah. Look at the first timers coming out. I love it. What's up, Wilmy Diaz? What's up, Rhythm? And what's up, Angelo Garcia? Ladies and gentlemen, we got first timers for days. You guys, welcome to the party, pal.
Welcome to the party, pal.
All right, so check it out. New York Blood Center gets dorked up. Guys, actually, there's not that many blood center, blood wagon things going on. So I find it kind of wild that there's been 2 in the last month. If you remember the mobile blood donation place, like Blood on Wheels, or I know it's not called Blood on Wheels, but basically it's like the big red blood bus, whatever they are. They got hit like maybe a month ago, and everybody who's ever given blood to them had their data stolen, which totally sucks. New York Blood Center gets hit as well. Now, I worked in healthcare for a number of years, but I never really cross paths with these blood centers. So I don't know entirely. If anyone in chat is familiar with this, please comment and I'll shout it out to the whole crew here. But the importance of blood obviously is important, right? Like you get in an accident, you're losing blood, you have a rare blood, you need to get blood transfusion. There's a lot of different reasons. Blood is definitely the lifeblood, LOL, the lifeblood of humans. So when I worked in healthcare, I didn't really understand if we had blood on hand or if we worked with these type of third parties essentially to get blood. What's up, Jorge Aliaga? First timer in chat, ladies and gentlemen.
Welcome to the party, pal.
but they got hit with what appears to be a ransomware attack, confirmed by the story here. And essentially, guys, here's the thing. It doesn't matter. You got to keep your mind on this one. It doesn't matter if you make, Tickle Me Elmo on a manufacturing line, or if you're capturing blood in mobile blood donation centers and delivering them to hospitals, right? It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, there are people working there. There are, products you have to buy. There are invoices you have to sell. There is relationships and contracts that need to be put in place. It doesn't matter what your business is. You need IT infrastructure. I'm not even like hard selling you on IT infrastructure. It's like, this is how you do business in 2025. You need email. You need calendar. You need coordination. You need, bear with me. You don't need SharePoint, but let's be honest. Everyone starts up and spins up a SharePoint because, it'll be a single place for everybody to go. And then it turns into like the kitchen junk drawer where you've got like paper clips and a flashlight. And for sure that coupon was in there. And where is the coupon, Grayson? I know I saw you in here getting the flashlight. Where's the coupon, right? Like that drawer is what the SharePoint turns into. And we all know it, okay? So this blood center, when they get their IT screwed up, right? It messes things up. Where you take blood and then you're supposed to go deliver it to MUSC. Well, when you check on the calendar, right? Oh, where am I taking this? And the calendar's down, or your email's down, or coordination's down. You literally can't do anything. And I think with this blood stuff, you do have to keep it cooled and everything. Not that this would take down refrigerators, but you can't just go home and park it in your driveway and be like, I'll get this 75 pints of blood to somebody tomorrow, right? So it has real impact. And that's just, guys, by the way, here's another thing to wrap your head around. Actually, DJ Bsec does bring up a good point. He said fridges are online and they can be taken down. That is true. I will say a lot of the tech in the healthcare spaces that I've worked in are IT enabled because they want a single pane of glass. And I use quotes because it's almost a friggin' punchline, but literally a single pane of glass. So you can see temperatures, and if a fridge goes above a certain temperature, usually with pharmaceuticals, if it goes above a certain temperature, it alerts. Just honestly, guys, not to be a total dork here, but I don't know. Well, you see that little white thing right there? That little white box right there in the corner? That's a hydrometer. I have that hooked up to my phone because if the humidity in this room gets above a certain level, I got to come in bat out of hell because I do not want all of this equipment getting wet, right? Moist. Ugh, what a terrible word to use. I don't want this equipment getting destroyed by humidity. And by the way, if you've ever spent a minute in the low country, humidity is where we live. All right. Quick side note, Charleston, South Carolina, between the months of August and October, it's like walking in soup. So if you really like soup, if you're a soup person and you want to live in soup, you're a floating carrot, come on down to the low country. TLDR, as always, ransomware should be your primary threat that you should really be thinking of. It's so rampant. It's so likely from a GRC perspective, so likely to impact your organization that you should be doing basically general enterprise risk assessment and putting all the things in place, but then you should be doing a targeted risk assessment of ransomware, both encryption of your files and data, as well as data exfiltration. Don't just do encryption only and systems are down. What do? Also do data exfil. This instance right here, they're down because their systems are encrypted or broken in some way. I don't know if data was exfilled or not, but those are two different impacts. Okay. So don't get wrapped around the axle that ransomware is encryption only. You need to think about both as far as, when you're painting the scenario to your leadership or your IT about what are we doing? All right, let's go.
Exposed database leaks sensitive data. Researchers from cloud security firm Wiz uncovered an exposed database belonging to China's new AI tool, DeepSeek, which has been leaking sensitive data including chat histories, API keys, and back-end operational details. The exposed database was in ClickHouse, a column-oriented database management system designed for online analytical processing when handling large volumes of data. ClickHouse is intended to be accessible only internally by the firm using it. DeepSeek has since secured the exposure.
All right. So DeepSeek in the news, both for upsetting the AI industry, as well as driving NVIDIA's stock value down, as well as being exposed. So first of all, I got to tell you, Wiz, W-I-Z, Wiz, Fleet is posting the third with gifted subs. Thank you, Fleetus, Lego Pie Guy, Chris Culligan. Guys, if you're one of the 5 recipients of the gifted subs, please, tip your hat to Fleetus posting. He is your he's your guy. Okay, so check it out. Wiz, in my opinion, I know Wiz is like a massive juggernaut right now, but like they kind of low key came out of nowhere to me. Stacy Loki, who is a Simply Cyber community member, she's been a bit dormant, but she definitely is a member of the community. She works over at Wiz, so we get a little insights on there, but they are a juggernaut, and they focus on cloud and basically cloud security. And so when they release something, it's super legit. Now remember, most high end or even mid tier cybersecurity solution companies, so companies that are selling product or services, okay? So think like your Microsofts, your XM Cybers, your Flare, right? .io, like basically all the sponsors of the show. They will also have a security research arm, because just in case you weren't paying attention, in 2025, like releasing a press release about new features you have, no one reads that. That's not good for marketing your business. What is good for marketing your business is having research published saying, like basically providing value out to the community. So you get that your name associated with like community and value and research and advancing things. And like, this is a perfect example right here. So Wiz has uncovered this thing and it's getting big, huge pub. And basically DeepSeek came out of nowhere, and guess what? Even in China, Carl! They got Carl. Dude, Carl is an avatar. I don't care if you work in China, in the United States, on the moon, International Space Station, got a lot of smart people up there. I guarantee you, somewhere in the ecosystem of all the things, Carl! Right? Even if you're a big brain, right? You got 1,000 IQ, you're doing all the things, right? You make mistakes. You might be moving quick. Misconfigurations can happen. Like, oops, I accidentally clicked the wrong button. Crap happens, okay? Unfortunately, when crap happens, the impact is pretty bad, because Wiz was able to basically leak chat histories, API keys, which is a security concern, right? Chat histories is like a confidentiality, privacy concern. API keys is a straight security concern, right? Like, I'm going to be able to run compute under your account. And then back-end operational details, which is super vague and generic, like whatever that means. DJ Bisek told me that I guess you could just like pull all sorts of data out of DeepSeek, and almost joking, again instance had anything to do with short amount of time, dude. Like DeepSeek and all the things DeepSeek came out in like a matter of days. Okay, I guess the back end is a ClickHouse setup. I've never heard of ClickHouse before, so if you have heard of ClickHouse, let us know in chat. I'm curious. It says it's a column-oriented DBMS or database management system for online analytical processing. So I haven't heard of a column-oriented database management or column-oriented database at all. So I don't know. Here's the thing. This could be a column-oriented database. This could be a NoSQL database. This could be a relational database. It doesn't matter. It is just a database, and it was misconfigured to allow access to it. Okay, so don't get wrapped around like, oh, does column-oriented database systems have weaknesses? It's just the schema and structure of the database. Don't get sweaty on that. Also, as a bonus tip, just this is like a quick little bonus tip for everybody. I personally came up because again, I don't even want to get into some of the nasty comments I got on YouTube just a couple days ago about my knowledge. But when I came up through computer science, like relational database systems was like it. Cloud wasn't really a thing yet. And our, basically like Postgres databases, SQL Server databases, these type of things was where it's at. And relational databases was what you learned, and normalizing databases and having, primary keys, foreign keys, doing, oh my God, I can't even remember. Like basically there's a table structure where you have like the two data tables, but then you use two primary keys and a lookup table to map. Anyways, I'm not going to give everybody a popsicle headache. There's an entire science behind databases. But personally, I started hearing about...
Just become best friends. Yep.
2K Nola with the super chat. He's already a new AI like DeepSeek called Meet Kimi K15. Seriously, guys. Thank you, 2K Nola, for the super chat. And also, thanks for telling us about Meet Kimi. If you've used Meet Kimi, let me know in chat. That's kind of crazy. But I just wanted to give a quick shout out to one book I read recently because I like to level up, okay? And when I hear about NoSQL database or Hadoop clusters and all these other things, I don't know what we're talking about. And I'll be perfectly honest there, but I don't know. But what I'm not going to do is stick my head in the sand and be like, relational databases are the way. Like, I'm an old man who yells at clouds. You kids with your NoSQL databases. So I bought this book, Learn 7 Databases in 7 Weeks, I think it was. Yeah, this book right here. Can you see this? Just if you're interested, okay, it's basically 7 database structures. A couple of them have very similar backends, but this is a quick read. It says 7 databases in 7 weeks. I did 7 databases in a weekend, so don't think that you have to commit 2 months to this book. But personally, if you're looking to get familiar with the terminology and the concepts of like modern databases, especially if you're like either just learning about this stuff or B, you came up and you're old and like you only know the old style databases, this is a great read. And like I said, it's just like a little level up. Okay, yeah, thanks AAS. Yeah, I appreciate that. You guys are kind. I try not to bring the I try not to bring some of the toxicity and crap that I have to deal with. It's not often that I have to deal with it. But someone basically attacked my PhD, which kind of bothered me a bit. I did ask them for clarification, so we'll see what they come back with.
CISA's future unclear under new administration. At the conclusion of the second week of this new administration, there has been no one named to lead the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, also known as CISA, and, quote, no plans for anyone in its leadership to address the annual gathering of the nation's Secretaries of State in Washington, end quote. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem had stated prior to her confirmation that the agency had strayed, quote, far off mission, end quote. A conservative blueprint for the Republican administration, quote, recommended that CISA be moved to the Transportation Department and focused solely on protecting government networks and coordinating the security of critical infrastructure, end quote.
All right. So, yeah, I mean, CISA was instrumental in election security and giving confidence to the American public of fair democratic elections. CISA was also, has a bigger mission. They were providing the known exploited vulnerability catalog. They were providing threat intelligence. They were helping coordinate public-private sector collaborations and integrations. So under the stewardship of Jen Easterly, CISA, in my opinion, had a very clear cybersecurity role and alignment. I just want to point out the name of the agency is the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, right? So like it is on brand. But we will see. It falls under Department of Homeland Security. Kristi Noem, I don't know if she's been Trump wants her to be the agency secretary. I know that you have to do like these congressional public shaming sessions, but as far as I know, I mean, how, like in the United States, even if like you go through the public shaming session and they uncover a bunch of stuff that's like embarrassing. I don't think I've ever seen someone who was like appointed not get the job. You know what I mean? So like, it's all kind of I don't know. It seems like more of a dance than actually like an evaluation. Like, are you going to get the job? Right? If only job interviews were that way, right? Like, guys, a lot of us like trying to interview for jobs and then you don't know and then you get ghosted. Like, so we'll see what it is. To me, the more important thing for us as cybersecurity practitioners is to understand where CISA is going to land. Like they said, the president of the United States hasn't named anyone to be the lead of CISA at this time. I'm going to grant some grace. Okay. Like there's a lot going on. It's only, I think, like his first 2 weeks or something like that. He's still putting his cabinet in place. Really, Trump could appoint someone or suggest someone or whatever, but I think Kristi Noem is the Secretary of the Department of Homeland Security, since CISA reports up to them. I think that would be her call. I'm not 100% sure, but you know what I mean? Like, it's like, if I'm the CEO of a company and I hire a CISO, I'm not going to be like, oh, this is going to be your director of GRC right here. It's like the CISO's job to hire that person. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. We'll see. I would say if there isn't somebody in place by the end of February, that would be concerning for me personally. Again, just so everybody knows, not a political show. We keep it apolitical here.
Major GitHub outage affects pull requests and other services. An incident report published on GitHub's official status page stated, quote, "We are investigating reports of degraded availability for issues and pull requests," end quote, and continues, "We have identified an issue with our caching infrastructure and are working to mitigate it," end quote. Users logged by Down Detector are experiencing problems with the website, server connection, and the Actions feature. As of this recording, the company has said, quote, "We will be failing over one of our primary caching hosts to complete our mitigation of the problem. Users will experience some temporary service disruptions until that event is complete," end quote.
All right. Hey, really, really quick. I'm seeing a lot of kindness and really thoughtful, supportive comments in chat. I appreciate that, guys. I was sharing with you just to vent a little bit, but also I wasn't throwing a pity party, but I do appreciate your kindness. Thank you very much. You know, when you're doing content like this and helping people at scale, not everybody's a fan, right? And some people say some mean stuff, but we get through it. It's not going to ruin my day. You know what? At the end of the day, we got the community. I got a great wife and kids and support structure. So I'm going to keep doing me. Like, listen, I've been living that GRC life for years, and we were getting hated on. We were getting hated on for that for a number of years. So we've pushed through that barrier. All right, let's go. Let's go. All right. So GitHub outage affects pull requests. If you're depending on GitHub for your, like, you know, basically your business, then you may have had some issues here, right? You can set up GitHub. There's private instances of Git. A lot of businesses use it. Remember, Microsoft owns GitHub now for DevOps pipelines, command and control. Command and control. I'm sorry. I saw Eric's name, and for some reason, I immediately thought of C2 infrastructure. I don't know why. For DevOps, CI/CD pipelines, right? Automation, that type of stuff. So if GitHub goes down, you're kind of hosed. I also want to point out, like, being real, if having like a business continuity plan for your code repo and your CI/CD pipelines is not trivial, all right? Like, you can have a backup facility, right? The classic Security Plus or CISSP question where you have like a second facility and you can roll to it, and we keep warm. It's a warm site. We've got machines and we can do backups and stuff like that. Or it's a cold site. It's just an office building and we have some computers and warehouse. Like, that's all fine and good for your traditional physical infrastructure. But if you're running cloud, if you're moving at the speed of business and you've got CI/CD pipelines and stuff like that, listen, you can't just copy and paste your GitHub CI/CD pipeline into AWS. Okay, like it's different infrastructure, different backend, so it's hard. What I would say is possibly making sure that, again, you'd have to do a business impact analysis with your business stakeholders. But what I would say is, consider a solution that would be your main production client facing, whether you're B2B or B2C or B2E or B2G or whatever you want, B to whatever, B to X, right? Make sure that you have maybe a backup instance or another way to host your production infrastructure and deliver that to your clients while you get your dev and your test environment set up. That's another thing. Typically, CI/CD pipelines will have a dev environment, a test environment, and a production environment, and you roll through those. B to A, B, C, D, E. So again, something like GitHub, like, guys, if you're going to build a business that does CI/CD pipelines and delivers software, you're not setting it up on some ramshackle mom and pop cloud solution. You're putting it on an enterprise grade, whether it's AWS, Microsoft GitHub, or whatever. It doesn't matter. Google compute platform. You don't expect those to be down. And if they do go down, you do expect them to be brought back up reasonably fast, because the reason you go with those companies is because
Straight cash, homie.
they got money for days, dude. They got people for days. Okay. Again, they mentioned, I was actually going to recommend this, but they have it here. Downdetector.com. Bro, I'm running a show here, Down Detector. Can we pick it up a bit? Zero tolerance. All right. Dude, when something like this happens, I got to tell you, this is what I see in my inner monologue, okay? This is what I see in my inner monologue. When I go to a website in 2025, even if it's my personal time, if I go to a website, especially when I know I'm on a fast internet connection and it doesn't immediately come up, I know it's completely like first world problems, but like my inner monologue is this: son of a like website, come up. Okay, anyways, downdetector.com is absolutely the bee's knees. You should absolutely have Down Detector, maybe not on your speed dial, but certainly in your mind. That is really funny. Yeah, the irony of Down Detector being down. You could see here, Microsoft 365 was having a problem yesterday morning, late morning, early afternoon. Got some hot spots in here. It's like a dog who's like gnawing on their paw. We got some hot spots up in here, but everything looks good now. I will say, you see how it kind of like levels out and then spikes back up. Don't take that to mean that there's a problem going on. Just this is demand on it, right? Basically, the United States is woke up, and that's what's cracking right here. All right.
Huge thanks to our sponsor, Conveyor. Let me guess, another security questionnaire just landed in your inbox, which means all the follow-up tasks you don't have time for are close behind. So what are you going to do? Here's a better question. What would Sue do? Sue is Conveyor's new AI agent for customer trust. She handles the entire security review process, like answering every customer request from sales, completing every questionnaire, or executing every communications and coordination task in between. No more manual work. Just a quick review when she is done. Are you ready to let Sue take the reins? Learn more at www.conveyor.com. That is CONVEYOR.com.
All right. All right. Let's go. Yeah, hey, please don't ask questions about this. I don't know anything about this, okay? I don't know why she has a lightsaber. I don't know what we're doing here. So, guys, shout out to all of you. Today is Friday, January 31st, and I got to tell you, incoming message. Hold on. This is coming over the wire right now. Yes. I have breaking news, everybody. Yes. It's confirmed. You are all absolutely freaking awesome. Welcome to the party. I love it. I love it. I love it. Guys, so happy with the Simply Cyber community. Thank you. I'm so grateful to be part of it. I want to thank all of you for being here, for spending time every morning from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. Many of you staying through jaw-jacking and the shows. Many of you jumping on to jaw-jacking panels. Many of you helping each other in chat. Even when the streams aren't running, over in the Discord community or in LinkedIn, I see people helping people. I love it. It's so heartwarming to see so many people getting the help they need and not being treated like gatekeepers and toxicity. Ain't nobody got time for that.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
All right. Guys, I do want to say shout out to the stream sponsors. Many of you know it. He's actually behind the glass right now. Eric Taylor, the crew over at Barricade Cyber, Cybercycle with 20 gifted subs. Heck yeah. If you are one of the 20 folks who just got squad memberships, you can thank Cybercycle. Cybercycle, thank you so much for squads, memberships, and support. I'm going to do some Oprah emotes in here. If you are a minted squad member, your name would be in green on YouTube, and you have access to the squad tray. George Strasburger dropping bombs. 5 gifted subs. Thanks you, George. Boston, what's up? Love it, love it, love it. Hey, George, what do you think Mike Vrabel's going to draft? Hey, Ammo Kakar, hashtag first timer. Welcome to the party, pal. Guys, we are on a rager right now.
Welcome to the party, pal.
All right. Hey, let me tell you about Barricade Cyber Solutions, though, guys. Barricade Cyber Solutions, Eric Taylor and the team over there are dedicated to helping businesses from cyber attacks and recover from the damage done. Cyber attacks, they suck, okay? But they keep us employed. They can cause massive issues for businesses and send dedicated, hardworking business owners into turmoil. But guess what, guys? Barricade Cyber Solutions, they know how to mitigate the damage done by cyber incidents. They are vigilant 24/7, 365. Go to barricadecyber.com. Check it out. You can get with Eric Taylor right now. Maybe not right now because he's actually behind the glass doing, Simply Cyber stuff. But you can get on his calendar. If you're dealing with an active ransomware incident or business email compromise, I guarantee you he will actually get off the stream and help you with your situation. Barricadecyber.com. Links in the description below. Thank you so very much, Eric and crew. Finally, I want to say shout out to Antisyphon training. Guys, Antisyphon, if you are in John Strand's SOC Core Skills class this week, you know how good Antisyphon is. Let's do 30 seconds with Antisyphon. And when we get back, guys, James McQuiggan at 35,000 feet is going to do some rib tickling. So get ready to get laughing. Back in 30. Do you want cutting-edge, high-quality cybersecurity education, regardless of financial position? Check this out. I want to give some love and some praise to Antisyphon Training, powered by Black Hills Information Security. Antisyphon Training is absolutely disrupting the traditional cybersecurity training industry by providing high-quality, cutting-edge education to everyone, regardless of financial position. They bring industry professionals with years and years of experience into the classroom to teach you and anyone else who's interested practical skills that are in demand in the market today. And on top of that, the student experience is amazing as you and hundreds or thousands in some instances of other students are actively engaging, networking, sharing tips, tricks, and experiences with each other, all live in the classroom. Go to antisyphontraining.com, check out their course calendar to see what courses they have coming up next. You won't regret it. Thank you so very much to Antisyphon Training. Love the people over there. Zach Hill, Kathy Chambers, Daniel Lowry, so many wonderful people. Guys, it's Friday. Joke of the day coming to you from James McQuiggan at 35,000 feet. Also, really quickly, James McQuiggan at 35,000 feet, given 10 gifted subs during the ad read. So if you are picking up any of these squad memberships, thank you and enjoy the squad emotes, and shout out to those individuals, George, Fleetus, Cybercycle, James McQuiggan, who are hooking up squad members today. All right, so check it out. James says that the month of January is so long. Let's get some time jokes. What did the digital clock say to the grandfather clock? Look, Grandpa, no hands. Look, Grandpa, no hands. What should you never eat? What should you never eat a clock in a hurry? Why should you never eat a clock? Why should you never eat a clock in a hurry? Obviously, because it's time consuming. Oh my God. Oh my God. Look at her butt, Becky. All right. Hey, what do you call a belt made of watches? What do you call a belt made of watches? James, I don't know. What do you call a belt made of watches? A waste of time. All right. I do like the digital clock telling the grandfather clock, look, Grandpa, no hands. All right. Thanks, James. I'm going at 35,000 feet. I hope you enjoyed those jokes. Before we get back to the news, let's get our la-la-la-las on. Here we go. Alpha Sierra, Valentino, let's go. You know the words. All right, great stuff, everybody. Let's finish strong, okay? Let's go, let's go, let's go.
New Syncjacking attack hijacks devices using Chrome extensions. According to researchers at SquareX, this new attack technique involves several steps, including Google profile hijacking, browse...
George Strasburger, super chat. And hold on, super chat, George Strasburger. Congratulations to all the new subs. Welcome to the party, pal. Exactly. Where is it?
Welcome to the party, pal.
Hello to those in the community who are currently deployed. You know who you are. That's right. La 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 la. That's a shout out to Alpha Sierra. So Alpha Sierra, know that the community and George are saying what's up and best wishes on deployment. James McQuiggan at 35,000 feet. That individual who brought you the rib ticklers. I'm excited to be presenting at Wild West Hackin' Fest in Denver next week, and Cyber Cruise Con, Cactus Con, and now I can add B-Sides Galway, the one in Ireland.
Did we just become best friends?
For the weekend of February 22nd, sharing my deepfake presentation. James McQuiggan, this is why this guy's at 35,000 feet. He's in Arizona. He's on a cruise ship. He's in Denver. He's in Ireland. Dude, this guy spends more time in the air than he does on land. James McQuiggan.
hijacking and eventually device takeover. It is described as, quote, stealthy and requires minimal permissions and almost no victim interaction other than to install what appears to be a legitimate Chrome extension, end quote. The process includes social engineering, fake Google Workspace domains, a fake browser extension, and a fake Zoom update. A more thorough description of this procedure is available at Bleeping Computer. Just follow the link in the show notes.
All right, so this is interesting. Hey, thanks, Mike Annam. Mike Annam saying some nice stuff in here. Also, quick shout out. I see Daniel Lowry in chat. Daniel Lowry over at Antisyphon, and just a great guy in general. Stay tuned because when the show ends at 9 a.m. in 15 minutes, 9 a.m. Eastern time, we're actually going to pivot to Jawjacking panel, which is a AMA style with multiple industry practitioners to hook you up. And then at 10 a.m., not necessarily simply cyber programming, but we usually go over to Daniel Lowry's YouTube channel where he continues the action doing a Daniel Lowry IRL situation. The guy's into good times, hardware hacking, guitars, and helping people. So stay tuned. That's the programming for today if you want. Now check this out. This story is about, it's called Syncjacking, whatever, like, insert new buzzword here. Chrome extension malware is a thing, and you may have heard of clickjacking. Basically, if you think about it for a hot minute, right? Like Chrome extensions is a way to modularly introduce additional functionality to your Chrome web browser application to be able to do things. I myself have Chrome extensions, right? Many of us do. I have a ChatGPT one. I have a Loom one. I have a ad blocker one, a Ghostry one, right? So Chrome extensions is what's up. Everybody uses them. Well, because you can run code in the context of the browser, permissions, it's valuable to threat actors to put malware in there to run, which is why you will sometimes get a pop-up that says, like, if you get basically socially engineered to go to like a lookalike website or a landing page or a watering hole attack, and you get a pop-up that says, hey, listen, you're trying to look at this PDF or you're trying to listen to this audio file and you can't hear it, you need to install this extension. That's a malicious pop-up. You might install it and then all of a sudden, boom, somebody is grinding crypto mining inside your browser extension, unbeknownst to you, using your system resources. Clickjacking is what that's called. Now, what there's, hey, Kevin757, first timer, welcome to the party, pal.
Welcome to the party, pal.
What I find interesting here for me personally, if you look at the notes, and hey, if anyone in chat has feedback or inputs on this, I'd love it. When I help an end user who is complaining of something, or the EDR fires off that there's something weird going on, what you typically will do, right? Not if the telemetry indicates this, you'll go look at their Chrome extensions and you can look at what's there and you'll say like, oh, this one's actually, like sometimes Chrome will actually flag it as malicious and you like disable it or delete it or uninstall it or whatever. And sometimes, you know, you're like, oh, this is weird. Having said that, according to this story, it can actually set up a benign looking Chrome extension, a legitimate Chrome extension, which requires no victim interaction. And it's a multi-stage process. Now, minimal permissions, this is a kind of a subjective thing, like whatever, like, you know, whatever the permissions are that are executing under Chrome. This looks like something that should have a graphic. I was looking for more of a process flow graphic, so I'm not going to get too angry about it. I almost said something that's not appropriate. Let's see how this works, okay? Malicious Google Workspace domain has stood up. A lot of threat actors are doing that right now. We actually saw a report last week about using basically Google Workspaces to trick end users into logging in and giving up creds to their Google accounts. This one, the threat actor sets up a Google Workspace. Then the attacker uses multiple profiles, okay, and disables MFA and stuff like that. Let's see. Okay, so the whole point of them creating this Google Workspace is that they can create an account. Oh, yes, that was what I was going to say. They can create an account in the Google Workspace, and they're going to log into your Google Chrome with that profile, okay? Now, the browser extension looks like a useful tool, so they're going to have to socially engineer you to get this tool. So right away, this to me says this is a crime of opportunity. The threat actor isn't targeting Daniel Lowry, right? The threat actor is targeting anyone that will install this Chrome extension, and they're hoping that they get a hit, right? You know, press your luck. No whammies, big bucks. Stop. $500 on a cruise. Woo! Right? Like they're trying to get good victim hits. This is not a target. So like that's what I see immediately when I see this thing, okay? Then they lure victims into installing the extension. We can begin to target, again, if you got a data dump from, say, Change Healthcare data dump or from some type of financial institution and you sort by bank account size. Now you can have the top 10 wealthiest people and begin to target them. So you can make it a little bit targeted, but you're also going to get a ton of spurious hits because you're going to have this extension in the Google Play Store, right? Once you're in there, they launch a hidden browser in the background. And, ugh. So the victim does have to opt in to sync in their profile, their browsing profile. So really quickly, I guess if you're going to educate your end users, there's a couple things here. One, the Chrome extension, make them mindful about installing Chrome extensions. And then two, if they're asked to sync their account settings with some random workspace. Because look, I know you can't see it on stream, and because of the way I'm sharing my screen, I can't zoom in and circle it. But you see here where it says it's like fuzzed out. I suspect that that is going to be the name of the fake workspace that the threat actor has set up. Chances are they're probably going to have it be a generic name unless they're doing targeted attacks, and then it'll be like a domain squatting lookalike name. But chances are, honestly, these threat actors are going for a wider spread. So it'll be more of a generic than it'll be like a targeted one. And then there you go. At that point, you can see this is the attacker's machine. They're going to enroll your machine, your computer, into that workspace, and boom, you're screwed. And now they got you installing malware. If you've gotten this far down the road, your machine's going to have to get re-imaged. Like, go ahead and call help desk and get your machine re-imaged, because that's what you need to do. Be mindful. This is a nice, complicated, multi-stage, sophisticated attack. I guarantee you the threat actors spend some time on this. You have to set it up with the registering of the Google Workspace, getting the malware kind of like dialed up, the Chrome extension to work. I'm sure Chrome is going to patch this, so they're going to have to maintain this. This is one of those ones where, like, dude, when you think of like a scammer with a call center and they send you a pop-up and they get on the phone and they just rob you, that's like lazy. I know that they have to do the work to trick you, but that's like straight up digital mugging you on the street. This is story right here. This is actually much more involved and sophisticated. And for those reasons, I'm telling you right now, a threat actor doesn't spend all this time and money to build up this attack sequence just to use it one time, okay? So you can expect to see crap like this happening a little bit more. TLDR, be mindful of malicious Chrome extensions because it's so hot right now.
That Hansel's so hot right now.
House bill aims to better protect financial institutions from ransomware attacks. This bipartisan legislation, named the Public and Private Sector Ransomware Response Coordination Act, would, quote, direct the Treasury Secretary to deliver a report on existing collaboration between federal agencies and private financial companies, examining how those partnerships can be improved to better protect the industry from cyber attacks, end quote. The report would also probe, quote, whether relevant federal agencies are receiving timely access to reports on ransomware attacks on financial institutions, analyze reporting requirements, and assess whether additional legislation is needed, end quote, as well as asking the Treasury Secretary to provide feedback and potential policy solutions. Team Viewer.
All right, really quick on this one, because we only got a couple minutes. I got producers behind the glass hitting me with a cattle prod. Actually, fun fact, when I was in college, I actually signed up to be like a test patient because I was so poor. I signed up to be a test patient for like a science experiment. I'm not joking. They hit me in the neck with like cattle prod like multiple times, and they were measuring how like my body reacted to it. I'm telling you, just whatever. I'll go into greater detail on Tidbits Tuesday. Anyways, House bill aims to better protect financial institutions from ransomware attacks. I guarantee you this is a direct response to the Department of Treasury getting hacked by China, allegedly, recently. Financial institutions, they usually have pretty deep and dope information security. I think this is a knee-jerk reaction straight up to that information. Can I just really quickly share this with everybody? Better protect financial institutions. They want a deliver a report on public-private coordination to combat attacks on the financial sector. I hate to point this out, okay? I hate to be this guy, okay? This is what CISA does. I know that you're like kneecapping CISA right now, but like this is what CISA does. You don't need to pass new legislation. Just like, what are we doing here? What are we doing? It's like having a weed whacker in your garage and being like, man, the weeds around the fence are real bad. We should definitely put together something that gets those weeds. Like maybe we should look into like, see if we can like reappropriate the garden weasel and kind of hold it at the side and see if we can get those weeds. It's like, bro, look in your garage. You have the solution.
This is vulnerability in Windows client and host applications. TeamViewer has released security patches for a high-severity elevation of privilege vulnerability in its remote access solutions for Windows. The vulnerability affects TeamViewer full client and TeamViewer host versions in versions from 11.x through to 15.x. Quote, an attacker with local access could exploit the flaw to achieve local privilege escalation on a Windows system, end quote. The company says it is not aware of attacks in the wild exploiting this vulnerability, which was discovered by an anonymous researcher from the Trend Micro Zero-Day Initiative.
You gotta patch it. All right, TeamViewer. TeamViewer's so hot.
That Hansel's so hot right now.
All right, I mean, here's the deal. really quickly, TeamViewer is a popular remote management or desktop solution. It is used by corporate entities. There are other options like AnyDesk and others, but I've seen TeamViewer be used. Threat actors can use it to log on your box and do things. And there is a vulnerability. If you're using TeamViewer in your environment, patch it. If you're not using TeamViewer in your environment, I would recommend a couple things. Number one, if you're not using TeamViewer, you should be looking at your infrastructure to see if TeamViewer is being run, okay? It runs on a certain port. I think it's like 9,000, or that might be VNC. Whatever. TeamViewer is definitely run on a certain port. Not that you can change which port it's run on, but if you're Carl, right? If you're some end user, right, you're not going to like modify the port. You're just going to use whatever. So you also, TeamViewer typically goes back to a centralized, essentially C2 instance that TeamViewer hosts. Again, it's not malicious C2. It's just the way that the architecture works. You could see communication going to that through your logs. So definitely, basically, if you find TeamViewer in your environment and you're not supposed to be using TeamViewer, what you want to do is identify what IP address is using it, and then get the host name of that machine, and then get your jacket on and walk down to that person's desk and be like, hey, what are you doing with TeamViewer? And they're like, I did. And you're like, well, that's not a good explanation.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Uninstall it, right? Shut it down, okay? Listen, you cannot introduce remote access solutions randomly into your environment, right? I do want to point out, you do have to offer some type of corporate approved, controlled solution to access remotely, both in a post-pandemic world, a remote workforce world. And guys, here's the deal. If you're like a eager beaver and you want to work 120 hours a week because you love the mission, but the CFO is only going to pay you 40 hours a week, I guarantee you the executive team has got a double-fisted situation going on for you. They will enable the living hell out of you to go work 120 hours a week because they're only paying you for 40. And you're going to work your butt off. Get in there, sir. You do you, boss. What can we do to enable you? So you can't say no remote access because you're going to get Heismaned and definitely put into the like a locker and jammed in there if you try to stop this. What you do need is a approved remote access solution.
DARPA seeks to create firmware that can respond and recover from cyber attacks by itself. RED-C, that is RED hyphen then the capital letter C, is a new project from the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, DARPA, which is seeking to give networks the ability to repair themselves after a cyber attack. As described in Cyberscoop, quote, the forensic sensors in your device's firmware spring to life. They begin healing your network, restoring locked files and communicating with other systems to collect forensic data. The firmware then analyzes the data to identify how the attackers entered and exploited system weaknesses, then blocks those vulnerabilities to prevent future breaches through the same entry points. End quote. The project seeks to build new defenses into bus-based computer systems, which are firmware-level systems used in everything from personal computers to weapons systems to vehicles. A more complete description of the project, as written up in Cyberscoop, is available in the show notes to this episode.
All right, this is wild. Daniel Lowry has entered the chat. We're talking about essentially firmware, which is, basically code that runs underneath, and kind of manages the hardware interface of systems. You don't typically interact directly with firmware, but you can use a bus pirate to interact with firmware. You can dump firmware. You can typically go to a manufacturer's website and pull down firmware, and then you can use a tool like Binwalk to rip it apart and look at the file system and all that other crap. Get some BusyBox in here. Anyways, when I see this, I think of Daniel Lowry. The deal here is that if a firmware gets exploited in any way, DARPA is working on some way for it to quote unquote self-heal. Okay, like I'd love to see what it looks like. I can't knock DARPA too hard. They did invent the internet, so they do have some precedents set as far as being pretty awesome. So I'm not going to poo-poo this right away. But what I will say is when you enable code to fix itself, that means code can break itself. When you enable code to self-heal, the code doesn't know if you're a good guy or a bad guy having you do stuff to it. You could be trying to adjust something because the code's not working right. And it's like, let me self-heal myself back to being not working right. So, we'll see how this goes. I like the idea of it, but at the same time, low-key horrified by it. All right, we're at time. I will say, Daniel Lowry, if you are into like firmware and hardware hacking and all those things, Daniel Lowry is a really great person to check out. We got wading through logs in chat. Holla. All right, guys, we're going to be pivoting like a boss, right? Hold on. All right, guys. Really quick, we're going to be going into jaw-jacking with the panel. Great industry practitioners getting in here to help us all out. Before we do that, though, I want to remind everybody, programming. We've got a lot of content today. We're about to go into jaw-jacking. You don't have to go anywhere to make that happen. We'll take care of it on this side. 2, we are doing Daniel Lowry at 10 a.m. is going to be going live on YouTube, and we'll drop a link to that. He is awesome. Love myself some Daniel Lowry. 3, and I would argue very important, okay? At noon Eastern time today, so 3 hours from right now, we're going to go live with the state of Simply Cyber. This is a once a quarter meeting, and it's going to deep dive, full transparency and accountability on what is going on with the channel, with the community, with the academy, with everything. We've got massive announcements to share with you, and we're going to be raffling off 2 amazing prizes. Tickets to Zero Trust World, $500 each in value to 2 lucky members of the community who attend. It will be here. I'll drop a link to it. I hope you can attend. Honestly, if you are interested in this community and shaping the future of it, this is why we do this meeting. Okay, so state of Simply Cyber. I hope you can join us, okay? All right, I'm Jerry from Simply Cyber. Like I said, don't go anywhere because we're going to pivot like Ross from Friends into jaw-jacking. If you have to go, have a great day. Enjoy the weekend. You've absolutely earned it. This week was a long one. I'm Jerry from Simply Cyber. Happy January, everybody. We'll see you at jaw-jacking. Ever wonder what it takes to break into cybersecurity? Join us every weekday for Jaw-Jacking, where industry experts answer your burning questions about the cybersecurity field. Live, unfiltered, and totally free. Let's level up together. It's time for some jaw-jacking. Hey, what's up? How you doing? I like the cut of your keyboard. Look at that. We got mechanical keyboards. If you got that click, click, click going on your keyboard, you know where you're at. Hey, Boss Finale says, WTF, you do this every day? Bro? I'm not sure how I've never heard of you. Thanks for doing this. Well, welcome to the party, pal.
Welcome to the party, pal.
I'm not sure how you haven't heard of us either. We've been doing this for 804 weekdays in a row. But hey, Boss Finale, you're here now. That's all that matters. Guys, this is Jaw-Jacking. This is a 30-minute, but on Fridays we typically go 60-minute segment where we answer any and all questions that you have. If you have questions about career, interviews, certifications, anything cybersecurity related, we want to answer it for you. Typically, it's me by myself or Eric Taylor on Tuesdays, DJ BSEC on Thursdays, but Fridays, we got a special treat for you. We bring on a panel because ain't nobody got time for one-on-ones.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
We gotta bring the heat on Friday and go into this weekend like a bunch of bosses. So, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to introduce you to what will be your panel for today, January 31st, Jaw-Jacking. You know him as DJ BSEC behind the glass, but he's actually kind of like turning into a CISO. So he's getting away from the keyboard, but his roots are in the networking side of the house. Recently minted CISSP. Ladies and gentlemen, put it together for DJ BSEC.
Woohoo!
I love it. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, our next panelist, he likes to grumble and make dolphin sounds. He's a chief forensics officer with deep differ experience. If you got questions on that side of the thing, bring him here and ask him to Eric Taylor. Ladies and gentlemen, Eric Taylor.
Yo, yo, yo.
There he is, ladies and gentlemen. And then finally, let me get in frame here. Hold on one second.
Can we change that? Hold on.
No. I'll take care of it. Okay. And then finally, I want to welcome you. He represents Gen Z. He's got red hair, but don't hold that against him. Ladies and gentlemen, he's streaming on Learn to Defend Cyber with the regularity. Ladies and gentlemen, Casually Joseph.
What's going on, y'all?
Yeah. Ooh. All right. Now, we might be joined by some other community members later on in the panel, but for now, this is what we've got. DJ Bisek, Casually Joseph, Eric Taylor, and myself. We got GRC, networking, forensics, vulnerability management. We got you covered. What kind of questions do you have? As they queue in, if people want, I will go into a little bit more detail of how I volunteered to be a scientific test subject in college for $250, which, by the way, was absolutely like $1 million to me back then. Do you know how many 30 packs of Keystone Light you can get for $250? A lot.
Oh my God.
Yeah, Keystone Light's disgusting, by the way. But I'm joking. I'm
surprised it wasn't PBRs.
No, PBR was not like that. Wasn't like it was. Yeah, it's a long story. I didn't spend $250. Whatever. I did spend money on beer though. All right, here we go. I hear you. All right. Ooh, we got another panelist. It looks like. Oh, he's a regular here on the panel, ladies and gentlemen. SOC manager and mentor to many. Fleetus Poston the third. How you doing, Fleetus?
Good to see you guys this morning.
Absolutely. All right. So we got our first question in here. Looks like it's coming from Cienfuegos over on Discord. Is it possible to negotiate a raise in these conditions? The bosses from...
Oh, that was me. I'm trying to mark one.
Freaking
stupid thing moved.
Good job.
All right. Is it possible to negotiate a raise in these conditions? The bosses from above me to 4 levels above me. So my boss's boss all left, and we have some new management. So our year-end review essentially, and it takes off. But I guess what he's about to say is the people who are evaluating his performance have no clue whether he sucks or he crushed it this year. And is he in a position to negotiate a raise in this condition? Ooh, this is a tough one. So first of all, what I would say is, and panel, use private chat if you want to cue me to tell me you want to comment on this one. What I would say about this one, Cienfuegos, is the following. Hopefully, it's too late at this point, but hopefully before you started the year and stuff, you had like quantifiable, measurable things, right? Like your goal was to, like, I don't know, deploy multi-factor authentication or put in place some type of vulnerability management program, like whatever it is. And you can point to it and say, hey, listen, I was asked to do these 3 things. I did all 3 things. And on top of it, I did these other 2 things. I feel like I've exceeded expectations, and that warrants a measured increase in pay commensurate with industry. Like, you want to bring facts and make it, like, basically remove passion and try to be objective in that conversation where that management person can say, oh, okay, like I agree. Now, having said that, even if your manager wants to give you a hug, like legally, and say, oh man, this is wicked good, you did amazing, they are also hamstrung by their budget and by their boss. I got to tell you, it's not always fair. I literally have, I've been in management. I've literally been in situations where they're like, listen, you've got $10,000 to allocate across your team, and you should only give it to like 3 of them. Like been told so then it doesn't even become a question of like how good you did or how good you didn't. It becomes this stupid shell game. And I hate that kind of crap. And I'm not a big fan of that, but that's what's going on. Let me see really quickly. If anyone, hold on, it's really hard for me to see this in chat. Fleetus, do you want to comment on this while I get Wade Wells logged up?
Sure. So you hit the nail on the head. As a manager, generally you're having to rank your individuals, and the only people who rank excellent or above tend to get the money. Unfortunately, that's just how the pot works. You can go get spot bonuses, you can give gift cards, you can do stuff in between, but yeah, it's very difficult with the politics of budgeting.
Yeah. So just know, and this is for everybody in chat, especially if you're younger in your career, Like, just know sometimes it doesn't matter if you absolutely crush it. Like, you might not get a raise because literally there's no money there and your boss is nerfed and they can't do anything for you. I do want to point out, though, you should always absolutely, in my opinion, push yourself, say yes to all the projects, take advantage of everything, especially early in your career. I'm not promoting burnout, but what I am promoting is building your resume. Be the CEO of you. If they're not going to give you a raise, guess what? You might be go getting another job. The gold watch days, that's over, right? 2 years, bump and go. I want to bring another panelist on. You guys know him as Wade Wells, but he's wading through logs in chat. This guy is a CTI and SOC analyst extraordinaire. He does detection engineering in his sleep. Ladies and gentlemen, in and out's own Wade Wells. How you doing, Wade? Where are we? Hold on. Oh, I got to do
Didn't
this.
even bring him on.
There he is.
That was quite the intro. That was like a million different things.
All right. So, Wade, how you doing, buddy?
Good. How are you?
Oh, looks like you got cleaned up. You got high and tight there, huh?
No, yeah, this is the usual, look like a cop haircut. So
I
it
like
works
it.
out pretty
I was about
well.
to say
Gets me
you
out of
look like a
tickets.
cop. I thought you was about to say you
Looks
look
like
like
a
a cop
trooper.
going to Denver. So
I
Narc.
wish I'm not. I wish I could go to Denver. I'm not.
I was about to ask you if you're going to be speaking this time.
No. I got too much stuff going on. I am speaking at Hack Space Con though. If anyone's gonna be down in Florida.
There it is. I like it. So if you want to get some Wade, go to Hack Space Con. Obviously, Wild West Hack and Fest Mile High's coming up. Eric and Casually Joseph will be there, right?
Yep.
Yep.
And
Cletus,
Jay
are you going to Denver?
I will be in Denver.
There we go. Wild West Hack and Fest Denver. I know B-Dubs will be there. She's got the flag. That should be coming in soon. Next question. Will Try Hack Me SOC Simulator benefit my resume for a SOC 1 role? If so, is the paid sim better? Okay, so really quickly, I can tell you this. The SOC Simulator is from Try Hack Me is a new product basically that they're offering. I previewed it at Black Hat, and it was really good. Like, I actually found it to be like when they say it's a simulator, it like legit is a SOC simulator. You're getting SOC analyst type stuff in that simulator. As far as improving your resume, it's kind of hard because it just came out, so people may not know about it. But I will tell you, if you capture what you learn in that SOC simulator, they will like it. Fleetus has a comment on this. Fleetus, go.
Yeah, so you hit the nail on the head. It's not just doing it, it's being able to take the lessons learned out of it. So being able to apply and be able to speak to, this is where I failed, but this is how I succeeded. This is what I learned. This is the pitfalls that comes with doing simulation. You have to learn how to get out of the ditch. And I think simulations are just important for that piece because everyone's going to get stuck at some point. And it's how you respond to the roadblock, not that you actually hit the roadblock.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. I like it. Perfect. All right. Net Setup says Accolade Cert, really? CCRF. I paid for the course and will take the cert exam, but do you know if any companies like seeing this cert? I don't know if it's got market traction yet, Net Setup. What I would say is go look at open job postings and see if they're looking for it. That's for any cert, whether it's CCRF, Sec Plus, Net Plus, A Plus, whatever. Look to see if they're looking for it. Because honestly, the money behind certifications is pretty high. If you look at these cert companies, they'll push certs out all day. I actually just saw a couple companies who just are pushing certs now. I think Try Hack Me's got a cert. I think Hack the Box has a cert. So like
Hack the Box does, yes.
Yeah. So I mean, it's not to say it's bad or good, but you got to assess market value.
Antisyphon's about to have certs. I think honestly, I think the market is ripe for like a new CompTIA, especially with CompTIA's buyout, right?
Yeah, PEs are doing it.
I think their trust value is going to drop horrifically, and we need another nonprofit to take over and step in.
There you go.
And this does kind of touch on the last thing that we talked about. You can have a cert that doesn't necessarily have any kind of clout, and you can still make it valuable by pointing out just like a couple lines of what you learned from that cert.
Yeah, some of the skills are obtained in a cert are transferable just for basic understanding. Like I said before, the Cisco CCNA, while you may go to a shop that doesn't operate Cisco, but a lot of that, the language will translate over to Juniper, Fortinet, Palo Alto, things of that nature. But you have core network fundamentals. You know what net translation is. You know what routing is, things of that nature. So that thing does relate on the CompTIA stuff. Me personally, I think CompTIA's certifications have been kind of falling off a complete trash for a couple of years now, at least probably about 5. It just seems like everybody just does it as a de facto, and it doesn't really hold any real weight. But that's just my 2 cents.
Yep. Thank you. Some great content here coming from the panel. Ellipsis says, as leaders, what KRIs, key risk indicators, what key risk indicators would you like to see in a monthly reporting metric format? I also want to point out, just so people know, those KRIs, KPIs, key performance indicators you might hear, a lot of times they're basically like two sides of the same coin. So like you can have risk be like, 20% risk, but then for performance, you could say 80%. Like we're 80% secure or we're 20% exposed. It's usually KPIs and KRIs are halves of the same coin. I'll take a run at this and then chat if you guys have some thoughts on this. Depends on your organization and a lot of things, how mature your information security program is. Like I will point out, like number of patches applied is not a good metric. It's like saying how many raindrops did your umbrella, stop. It's the question really is, are you wet or not? Shout out to Wendy Nather for that metaphor. So for KRIs, honestly, I like to see like what is actual risk. So from a GRC perspective, if you're doing any type of engagement with your workforce around phishing and that type of stuff, how many people click through? Because like, what is your risk exposure? Are people likely to fall for these things? Mean time to detect. So if there is a compromise and you detect it, how long before you actually found it and cleaned it up? How long does it take you to clean up a incident? Really, for me, it's more about like time-based things, right? Because it is a lot of how exposed are you. Also, it's a little less of a risk indicator, and it's very difficult to measure in a metric format. But the value of understanding how effective tabletop exercises are. Again, this is not an easy thing to measure, but for me, people understanding what the processes are from a resiliency perspective is incredibly important for your business to maintain its operation in the face of adversity. So that's another thing. Panel, anyone? Let's see. Fleetus has one. Fleetus, go ahead.
Sure. So I think GRC had on, when you go through your risk register, make sure that you understand that you're tying it back. Don't just add something to the risk register that's never going to get traction. Make sure you know that if this one happens, this is what happens to the organization. This is the detriment. This is when you're going to declare your DR, your BCP plan, or even have to declare your IRP. Yes, it is still a lot of buzzwords that your disaster recovery, your business continuity, your incident response plan, but these all tie back in. And a shameless plug, I'm doing an upskill of tabletop workshop with Level Effect today at 1 p.m. Eastern.
Oh, all right. There we go. Little teaser there. Wade Wells, give us a KRI, Boba.
So I guess you're going to have to tell me if this counts or not. But user analytic behavior, a lot of stuff like that, right, has a risk based on what they've been doing lately. A lot of insider threat, stuff like that, right? Should you go look at this person because they've been doing X, Y, and Z this week? That is one of the key, I would say that's one of the key risk indicators that I look at, or I have looked at in the past when doing security operations. So I don't know if that counts. I'm not a risk person.
Yeah, I mean, you're basically looking for things that are likely to be bad in your environment. That's why patches applied and stuff like that. Yeah, that's part of the normal operations, but that doesn't result in compromise. That's like just exposure, right? So, yeah, I mean, yeah. All right, so Haircut Fish, our very own Dan Reardon, who does the meme every Thursday, says, with January coming to an end, remembering the goals you set for the year, how are you coming along? Still working towards them, or have you dropped them off? All right, guys, let's go around the horn really quick. Everybody, you basically are just about to be held accountable and see if you flaked out on your, we're going hard in 2025. I personally am super pumped because I'm super happy. I'm like crushing goals. I had a bunch of goals to accomplish in Q1. A big thing that I did in 2025 was I'm setting, I have like kind of lofty, non-measurable annual goals that are my North Star, if you will. And I'm doing quarterly goals. So I'm resetting my goals every quarter. And for Q1, I had 5 goals and I've actually completed 4 of them. So I'm already kind of ahead of the game. Again, this isn't like ooh, look at me. You asked the question. Let's go around the horn. Casually Joseph.
Yeah, I'm still on top of them. I made sure to, when I was making my goals for 2025, I decided to use the SMART framework for goals this year, and it's definitely made it easier to stay on top of things. One of my biggest goals is to finish my master's, and I've been making nothing but progress. So
That's measurable. I like it. Fleetus, you actually came on very early in a panel in January talking about goals and reasonable goals. How are you doing on your goals personally?
Pretty well. Had to recalibrate middle of the month, just do some personal matters that came up that took some time away, as well as some professional projects. So I've been having to reevaluate, but still on track. I just had to reshift what the actual success story would be for them and break them up so I can carry them over.
There you go. See, don't get overwhelmed and abandon a goal. If you need to reevaluate and adjust, do that, but just keep moving forward. Wade Wells, where are you at with your goals?
Good. So mine are like over lofty and like not being done till the end of the year. I can't believe you got 4 done. Like,
yeah,
I have like B-Side San Diego, Hack Space Con. I'm expanding my intelligence class to 2 days. I'm thinking about making a detection engineering class, an AWS cert. I want to create a hackerspace in San Diego, so I may start a new nonprofit. And then I'm running DeathCon in San Diego, if anybody knows what DeathCon is. So that's
man, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Awesome, Wade. Crushing it. Eric, goals?
I'm still here. Success.
All right, that's a win. DJ Bisek, where are you at with your goals?
Is audio.
Yep.
It would not be a Simply Cyber podcast without an audio issue.
Yeah.
And coming from him.
All right. Well, we'll just come back to DJ Bisek. I think he set a new goal for Q1 to get his audio straightened out, so we'll check back on him. Suyukti says, what are some best ways to verify if a Chrome extension is safe to add or not? And I want to point out, having like a 5-star review in 1,000 reviews does not indicate trust. It is because they can manufacture that. Wade Wells, I feel like you would be the one who would write a detection for this or sniff this out. What are you thinking?
Don't install it. If you have any question about it whatsoever, do not install it.
Okay.
That would be
Love of
my
God,
thing,
you hear me
right?
now, right?
yeah,
Oh yeah, we can hear you now. Finally.
There
You
we
wanna
go.
Talk about your goals now.
No, that was total restream. Decided to just change where my mic was going from. I was like, what the hell? I was saying, as I was rudely interrupted by Restream, what I was saying was it's too early for me to create all the goals. There are goals that we've set personally and professionally. Right now, I've just got too much going on to say, hey, these are the goals for the year. But there will be some.
Yeah, I agree with that.
All right, there we go. Anybody else have a thought about the Chrome extension, safe for add or not?
yeah.
Go ahead.
You can install it on a sandbox, right? Go install it on a sandbox machine and monitor to see if it does anything crazy.
So that way you don't isolate yourself.
Yeah, don't be Eric. If you are in a bigger company and you're questioning whether or not it's safe, you probably have a team that you could escalate to see if they know whether or not it's safe. There's probably, it depends on how new the extension is, but maybe you might be able to look it up on VirusTotal to see if it's been flagged there. There's a few different ways you can tackle it.
Is it open source?
Yeah.
Right. One of my favorite Chrome apps is open source, but it's made by MITRE too, so like it's pretty solid.
Fleetus, what are your thoughts about this?
So to that point, check the author, see how many they've published, see where it's at. Is it across platform? Can you get it on Apple? Can you get it elsewhere? Can you get it in other places? And then also check the permissions. Always check the permissions. When in doubt, don't install it if the permissions are permissive, or install it in a standalone browser. So just use Chrome for just that plugin and use a different browser for somewhere else. That's hard to do for an end user. I'm actually working this with a C-level right now who wants to use a plugin that is very permissive. So we're trying to figure out a way to allow them to still do their job without the permissiveness of this Chrome plugin. So it's very relevant.
I love it. There you go. Thank you. And yeah, like the reality, Fleet has pointed it out. If an executive wants it, you've got to figure out a way to make it work, not tell him no, because, that's not going to work. All right, we got a career-looking thing here. Jason says, sit down with my CIO next week to discuss title and salary. He's got an associates in cyber and differ, working on BS in cyber and PM, Net Plus, Sec Plus in Mass. So Massachusetts, I assume, is what he's saying. What's the question, Jason? I guess what
title should he have?
Yeah, what's the title and salary?
Titles.
I guess. I mean,
I would,
it really depends on what you're doing.
I would ask the question back of what title do you currently have? Like, what is it you're going for?
Yeah, I mean, as you could say, like based on, there's not enough information here, Jason. Like, I guess cyber analyst, it's just super generic, super vague.
Well,
Depends what you're going to do and what you're. What's the job?
Dude, I'm just gonna say, if you've been in the industry for a while, I know with some of my previous jobs, I got to a point of caliber where I was writing my own job description.
Yeah.
Right. And I mean, if this is not there, you write a job description for the position that you're being hired for, whether it's already there or not. So.
Yeah, and
there you go.
And titles are mostly meaningless. It depends on what company you go to. So you would have to look at your company's titles, what they're offering as titles, to see what you can ask for. Unless they are giving you the option to make your own title, in which case I would make it sound fancy if you're wanting to put it on your resume.
In reality, titles are just for the next job.
Exactly, yeah.
I was going to add to that real quick. If you've got a very vague title internal, don't put that on your resume. Map it back to what you're actually doing and put that on your resume. Your employer doesn't see the job title. Don't inflate it. Don't make yourself the CISO.
Yeah.
Admin, and they call you an analyst, like an IT analyst. That doesn't tell me what you are. But if you're a systems admin, write system admin. Or if you're an IAM user, but they call you an IT security analyst, you're welcome to tune the job title to what your day job actually is on your resume.
Yeah, that's 100%. That's like a fact that doesn't get shared enough, and people feel a little dodgy doing it, like they're lying on their resume. Don't feel like putting, if your title of where you work is not truly representative of what you're doing, it's not wrong, it's not illegal, it's not fraudulent to put the title of what you're actually doing as what you're doing, because you're trying to market what you're doing, not explain your current job.
And also, like Fleeta said, don't over embellish, because when you go do that, when you got to go answer those questions, you're not going to know the answers to the questions that are going to be asked.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So really quickly, I want to take a hot minute here and celebrate this guy. Outlaw 11 passing the CCNA yesterday. Community helped him achieve those goals. I'm assuming Outlaw is a male. So he or she crushing goals. Nice job, Outlaw. Congratulations. I am going to dip out myself. It looks like DJ Bisek may be dipping out. But Eric Taylor has agreed to continue to manage it as one of the moderators. So I'll leave you in the capable hands of these individuals. Thank you, Wade. Thanks, Fleetus. Thanks, Casually Joseph and DJ Bisek, as you were. Go ahead and push me off there, Eric.
There we go.
That was perfect. That was literally perfect.
Yeah. Couldn't have been better.
Now that we've got the helm and the fuddies are out of here, let's have some real fun.
You've been pinning questions?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Let's see. I know what my answer on this would probably already be, but Adam asks, do you think ransomware operators will ever move to subscription style ransomware payments, i.e. charging victims for a smaller monthly amount, not to release data?
I mean, they already kind of do with double extortion and triple extortion, because they'll just come back after a couple of months and ask for more money.
I have to pay for my my Lockbit subscription, or else they're gonna leak all my data. Like,
yeah,
I don't think anyone would trust them that much.
No,
ever.
They're not going
it almost
to.
What's like a racket, right? When the mob comes in and tells you gotta pay your pay your dues, or else they're gonna like break your store, right? For protection money. That's pretty much like that. I couldn't see that happening unless they're also protecting your network, and then they just become a managed security provider.
Yeah, now they're just a pen testing firm.
But this also goes into the extortion discussion. Like, they may hit you with a one payment and then come back in with the backdoor if you don't patch it and extort you again. So this could be the subscription model without calling it a subscription model.
You got to patch it.
Just coming back
you gotta patch it.
Coming back for money every couple months, just to be like, hey, we still have your data. If you don't want us to leak it, more money, please. And it gets into how many ends of extortion it is, but that's just multiple layers.
Yeah. So, are they going to go into a subscription model? No,
Probably not.
It's as several of the folks have already stated, it doesn't really make good business sense because they don't have longevity, right? Threat actors are going to pivot their name, they're going to become different identities, and then that easily ties them. So like you got Lockbit, who's sanctioned right now in the US, so you can't make payments to Lockbit up any other cryptocurrencies to their identity. That's why they're potentially pivoting to another name right now. It's kind of speculative. We're not sure if they're going through a brand name. They're just in a partnership with another one. We've seen them pivot over to Ransom Hub in the past in Q3 and starting in Q4, trying to get around some of that stuff. But, so it really ties threat actors to it. Number two, 9 times out of 10, ransomware companies are, and I call them companies, unfortunately, because they do operate as a business, but they are a ransomware as a service. So Lockbit Sup is not the one who hits you when you have to pay Lockbit, right? It's affiliate people that are, breaching your network and using their encryption tool for the money, and that's really the way it goes. So unless you're going to lift up the skirt, so to speak, and see who's actually underneath and actually doing the vulnerabilities and doing the exploits, it's not going to be a viable model. So and thank God, because we don't need that mess on us as well.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. To the note of Lockbit being sanctioned, they're sanctioned. You can still pay them. That doesn't. It just means the government won't be very happy with you.
You can actually get into a lot of problems with the FBI and the IRS.
Yeah.
We almost got in trouble one time because the customer stated that we did that. And like, no. We told you this was sanctioned and you made the payment yourself. Here's the email. Don't come looking at us. Like we had 300 agencies showing up.
Does that still count for like paying? Because I know there's like a company in like New Zealand, right, that they can facilitate the payment. If
you could pay them, yeah.
Is that still illegal though? Because then it's just like it's your going around. But I don't know.
I think
it's a gray area
because the company is still facilitating the payment that resides in the U.S. Whether you're using a U.S.-based company to facilitate the payment or not is a different thing, because in your paperwork every year, you're supposed to say if you've acquired or made purchases with Bitcoin.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's one of those tactics like, are you really in trouble if you never get caught type of thing? So most businesses probably never say anything.
No.
Yeah. Very true.
Here's another one for the panel that I think is good. What are other great hackers out there that are beneficial to even be a hacker? Huh?
With other hackers out there.
I guess he's talking about what characteristics and behaviors maybe.
No, he's asking if there's a point in becoming a hacker if there's already good hackers out there. And the same thing could be said about anything. Is there a point in becoming a digital forensics analyst with good digital forensics analysts out there? Yeah. You're unique, which means that you're going to bring perspective that they don't have. If we let better people stop us, then most people wouldn't get anywhere. You have value in your own ways. That's basically that's it.
Anybody ever seen the movie Antitrust? Dude came out of a garage, took down a multi-billion-dollar company. So it's a good movie to watch. It's kind of whatever, but
when you mention you're a hacker at like a dinner party, you always become the center of attention if you like that type of stuff, right? Everyone always asks me about the cases I've worked, and I'm like, I can't. Oh, okay, here's one really good one. But
yeah. Without saying names.
Directed to Mr. Wade Wells, when is DEF CON?
Ooh, I don't know if they've officially announced it. It's in November.
I was about to say at least a month, yeah.
It's like I believe like the first week of November. DEF CON also, if you don't know, is a detection engineering and threat hunting. They have a couple on-sites around the world, and then they could do everything else virtually. Technically, you don't need to go to the on-site at all. It's just more meet up and hang out with people. I am trying to facilitate the one here in San Diego. Well, technically I am. So that's planning is underway. We'll see how how it works. It's another con to plan, so always fun stuff.
Because you mentioned it earlier, where can we find more information on your CTI classes?
Oh, wow. The Antisyphon training course. If you go to Antisyphon class or Antisyphon, you go look up CTI training course, and all my stuff is there. I am not teaching in like the next two things, though. I'm not teaching at the Red Team Summit or Denver. There should be another summit after that hopefully I'm not in Europe while it's going on and I can teach there. I may just throw up like a random one, spin up and see if anybody wants to do it or not, and just take a couple of days off to try to hammer out this second day course and then do a sort of beta. We'll see.
I do see one question from Jerry. If you're there, I'm not overlooking you, but that's going to be, I'm going to get on a soapbox and I'll rant for 3 days on. So we'll hold it to the end. This one would be to Mr. Joseph and anybody else who may have opinions on this. Is WGU degree beneficial?
It's only as beneficial as you make it, right? With any degree you take, any training you take, the amount of work you put in is the value you're going to get out. Is it beneficial just to be on a resume? Yeah. I mean, having a bachelor's is better than not having a bachelor's. Having a master's is better than not having a master's, right? It's going to add value to your resume, but as far as the skills you get out of it, it's only as good as you make it. You can do the bare minimum and get through classes pretty easy. Trust me, I did it quite a bit in my bachelor's for the first half. But until you actually start working hard on it, you're not going to get much out of it, right?
Yeah,
so
to add to that, I know many people who've done Western government. Like it's there. It's starting to be seen more on resumes. The one gotcha, and I'm not trying to dish it, is it can turn into just a certificate printing organization. So make sure that that's not the only thing on your resume. So don't use that as your pivot point. Make sure you've done a home lab, you've done some volunteering, you've done something else. Because if I just see the degree, that's a certificate printing to me, and nothing against the program. I think that it's value add, self-paced, so get it if you can, especially if you can get employee reimbursement. Use their program. There's value in it, but just make sure that's not the only thing on your resume.
I like it. Question for the group. I just saw it. Okay. What games or shows are y'all currently enjoying when not working on cyber? Balance is key. Mr. Wade Wills?
I'm rewatching the first season of Severance right now to let the second season build up, and so I can just watch it all at once and like remember. I just finished Pantheon on Netflix. If you haven't watched that, it is cyber related too. I highly suggest it. It is animated. It's about like, instead of AI taking over, uploaded intelligence takes over. Highly recommend it. Video game, I'm playing a game called Thronefall right now.
Oh, that's
it's like
a good
$10 castle builder.
Mr. Fleetus?
Sadly, I have not watching much of anything right now. I turn on what I call the poop tube in the back just to have background noise. Half the time my kids have something on that I may or may not watch when it's back there, but I'm not really playing anything and doing anything right now. It's when we talked about goals, I've had to pull back some of my personal time to reevaluate some of the effort, so I'm not vegging out as much as I should be, to be honest.
Gotcha. Kashmir?
Yeah, I've been pretty busy, but when I do get some free time, I've been playing a lot of Balatro, which is like a roguelike poker game. And then I've been playing Metaphor, which is a game by Atlas. It's a Japanese developer, but it's been pretty fun. Balatro consumed me Saturday. Like I hadn't intended on playing for as long as I did, but my girlfriend was going to bed. She's like, "Hey, I'm going to bed." I'm like, "Cool, I'm going to play some Balatro." No big deal. I sit down. It's like 11:30. I look at the clock again. It's like 3:00 in the morning.
Yeah.
I'm like, what am I doing here? Like, I'm like, I need to go to bed now.
Awesome. Let's see.
I got to take off. I actually got to go do work and tune some detections.
Don't leave us. It was great to see you, Mr. Wade Wills. Thank you so much for coming on, and we will see you hopefully next week.
Yeah, I do want to make a point that Luke pointed out that the criticisms I was giving on WGU could be applied to brick and mortars. Any school can do the same thing. So I appreciate the call out there, and I do want to say the thing. I'm just calling it out that people would just be aware that these online programs are great, but they also have stigma in some hiring managers. Same with any university.
Yeah, there's been a lot of universities over the years that have just, have pumped and dumped so much certs. And then a couple years later, you find out that that's all they were doing, and they're a big scam, right? There was a couple of them. What was it, Joseph, here in Charleston? They may not even been just Charleston, but was it ECI or ETI?
ECPI.
ECPI.
Yep.
But
they actually got decredited and closed.
Yeah.
If I remember, did they get decredited? No. Is it? I'm thinking of another. Was it ITT Tech that got decredited? It's one of the. It was one of the ones that was like. I remember there being commercials for it. I think ECPI is still up. Actually, I think ECPI is fine. It was a different one that got shut down, but it was one I remember seeing a commercial for all the time.
Yeah.
Let's see. The importance of investigating before you do something, like anything else. Before you buy a subscription, join a college, buy a car, anything, do your research. Just see what people think about it. That's all. I'll leave it at that. What you make, whatever decision you make, research it, go to the market, see what people think about it. What is their brand like? Make your decision.
Rhonda said it's ITT Tech. Okay. I thought it was or DeVry. That also sounds right. But ECPI is still good. That's the one. I got it mixed up with ITT Tech.
I know ECPI got into some trouble. I just can't remember what it was.
I think they got in trouble because I think you're getting it confused with ITT Tech, because ITT Tech was saying they were credited when they weren't actually credited. So you were getting uncredited degrees that were being told they were credited. That's like the huge drama that I remember. And I think ECPI I think somebody put the magnifying glass on them because of that incident, but I don't think they ever actually got in trouble. Okay, someone's saying ECPI is accredited.
Okay.
Yeah, I definitely got it mixed up.
I just remember them being in the news about something not good. So I'll have to do some Google food later and get caught up on it, because it's been a while. So we are coming up to the top of the hour. I'm going to try to pick out two of the top ones here of the questions that we have. Sorry, we can't get to everybody. CyberCycle asks, I have an interview next week for an IT services manager, or for an IT services manager. I'd like to keep my work and efforts in security and in context when answering questions. Tips on providing answers with a cyber twist. And Fleetus kind of answered this a little bit, but if you want to go a little bit further into it.
Yeah.
When you're talking about job titles.
It's always important to just be yourself, and naturally your security lingo is going to come out. So use a common language. If you start using acronyms, which you caught me doing a little bit ago, just explain them. The IT person may not know your vernacular, the lexicon that we use. Just be careful when using examples. Tie them back. You've probably heard me say in other places, if not, I'll say it again. Security is everyone's job. It's not just what's in your title. So they should be aware that you're going to talk about it. And be careful and comfortable at using the analogies, because they're analogies and they're stories, so they're appropriate. So just use your stories, use your analogies, but define them. If it's not common language, or if you don't know it's common language, it's okay to still, hey, let me explain what an EDR is to you. Or in case you don't know, just go ahead and say it. EDR, endpoint detection response, and then just keep moving. You don't have to belittle them. You don't have to say anything. Just define it and keep moving.
Joseph, anything to add to it?
Yeah, just try and make what you're saying relevant, right? Yeah, you can try and put in security twist, and it's fine. But if it doesn't answer the question that they presented, then it's not really useful to them. So just make sure to tie it in.
All right, the soapbox that I can go on for 3 days about. What are your thoughts on password managers that also manage your TOTP, MF, and multi-factor, and will automatically fill the information?
So really
I'm gonna
quick,
jump out the window and go play in the interstate.
Yeah, TOTP, token-based one-time password, MFA for your multi-factor. Fleetus, Do you want to give an opinion
So-
before Eric just explodes?
Yeah, I'm kind of similar to Eric. If that's all you have, it's better than nothing. And I'll leave that comment there and people can think about it. I understand using TOTP if you're making programmatic calls, but if you're interactive, use a different platform. So that way, if it does go, you have it. But if you need the time-based because you're making an API call, then yes, that's fine. There's vaulting tools out there. There's very commercialized tools that do this today. But for you as an individual, I would advise to have a second place to get your multi-factor. And I'd probably push to using biometrics for an interactive versus using a one-time code.
Mm-hmm. The one thing I will say is if you're using the same password manager for your TOTP, then you do not technically have MFA. That is just two things that you have, and they are on the same thing. So they are both. If your password manager were breached, they don't have to go to Duo to get the code. It's right there.
Mm-hmm.
So it is a multi-factor in the fact that you have two things that you have to know, but it's not multi-factor in the fact that it's just one pane of glass. So
I will say we have been on cases last year where password managers that are handling your TOTP codes do not time out. If you have an active session, your password manager stays up. You don't have to re-authenticate, whatever, So you get popped and they get a rat tool on you, remote access tool, TeamViewer, AnyDesk, whatever the case is, and they get that screen shared because you went off to get some coffee. Guess what? They can now log into your bank, automatically puts in your password, puts in your TOTP code, puts in whatever it wants. You're not standing up any sort of freaking security, right? You're not. It's supposed to be multiple forms of factor for a reason. Why don't you just go back and start writing all your crap in your notebook? I mean, seriously.
Yeah. So Marcus wants me to elaborate, and I will for a second. So biometrics, I'll pull that back a little bit, just a little bit more. The one-time password is a way of doing that second factor. So I'm just saying I don't like the codes because it's easy. If it's an SMS, it's plain text most of the time. To Eric's point, if it's logged somewhere, I can screen scrape it. But I can't take your finger. I can't take your retina. I can't take your palm, in theory. The other one, too, I'd rather, instead of putting in the 6-digit code, I'd rather have a challenge, an entry that Microsoft has done a few others where they're going to push you something and make you read what's on the screen and then put it into another device. I'd rather have the challenge response for putting in because that'll get away from MFA fatigue where you just click yes or accept because it's 3 o'clock in the morning and someone has your password and they've been spamming you all night long and you just roll over and accept it and boom, you went back to sleep, to Eric's point, and they're ransacking you while you're finishing up your night sleep. That's my small rant there.
Yeah, I mean, I've made the case before. I mean, I don't know about anybody else. I'm sure it is true. Your alarm is going off at 5 o'clock in the morning for you to roll out of bed. How many times last year did you accidentally hit cancel instead of snooze? I know I've done it.
Yeah. I've done that a couple times for sure.
You could easily say yes on that notification and inadvertently let somebody in. This is why what Fleetus was saying, this is why you have the challenge codes.
Even better, you may not have that device in hand and it's your intern, it's your spouse. You're letting someone just look up or make a phone call and they just swipe it off. And instead of swiping off, they click accept because they're trying to just make a phone call or they're trying to check something for you. And you gave them your smartphone or your tablet that has it. Now you've given your identity to that person because they can click accept or they can swipe away. And the adversary has now got access and you had no idea because your kid was using your phone or your spouse, your partner, or someone else was using it to look up something while you were traveling or on vacation.
Absolutely. Yeah, so don't do it. I've yelled at MSPs extensively about this and, have almost got into legal hot trouble because I yelled so long and vagrantly about this. So anyway, any parting words for you, Fleetus? You got anything coming up that we should be able to be checking out?
I alluded, I'm doing an upskill yourself for your SOC and IR teams through tabletops today with Level Effect from 1 to 3 p.m. Eastern.
You got a link you can put in here and we'll put in the chat?
Yeah, let me pull that up again. Give me a second. And then the other thing, too, is I will hope to meet some of you at Wild Hacking Fest next week. I may not be streaming as much, but I will still keep my shorts out there as well. I'll get those recorded and set up. But yeah, let me pull that link up real quick and then
I hope you're not using shorts. It's supposed to be pretty cold in Denver.
Oh, I like shorts year round. What are you talking about?
I'm back in shorts now. I mean,
well, yeah, it's also 80 degrees outside.
not that warm, but it is warm. It was 74 yesterday, I think it was.
I was looking at the temperature. It said it's supposed to be like 78.
Oh, let me pull up my stupid Apple.
But
weather that always lies to us.
Yeah, if y'all are going to be in Denver, it's going to be a great time. I know us three will be there, Fleetus, Eric, and myself. And there is the level effect link if you want to drop that, Eric.
Yep, I'm doing it now.
And that's my LinkedIn post if you actually want to see it, where I shared it out as well. But they're using Twitch today at 1 p.m. Eastern.
What's Twitch? Awesome. Thank you so much. So yeah, definitely to check out Fleetus and what he's doing later today. Let's definitely go over to the Twitch and see if you could be able to drive and get some more information and knowledge from him. Anything coming up from you, Mr. Casually Joseph, aka Patchin' Monkey?
No, I'm just I'll see y'all in Denver. I can't wait.
You got any no streams coming up?
No, not next week. I'm not bringing my streaming rig. There's so many parts, so I leave it here.
Gotcha.
I'll have my camera though, and I'll be recording some stuff. I might go live on my phone. We'll see.
Awesome. And with that, everybody, thank y'all so much for tuning in. We do greatly appreciate it. Please take a few moments. If you've enjoyed these questions, you've enjoyed the topics today, please share it on LinkedIn, share your comments and your stories, and we will see y'all next week. And those who have stuck around, you know what time it is, because I'm in charge. We're going to do sea shanty. Take care. See y'all on Tuesday.
There once was a kid whose passwords laid across all sites. They were the same, a criminal, then found their fame by taking that data to go. Soon may a criminal come to steal your pictures and data and run. One day when the crime is done, they'll steal your
Hey everybody, I hope you enjoyed that content. Keep the cybersecurity train going by connecting with the other Simply Cyber community resources. We have the Discord server that's lively and always keeps the conversation going. You can connect with me directly on LinkedIn. And also every single weekday morning on the Simply Cyber channel, we're doing live daily cyber threat briefings, 8 a.m. Eastern time, as well as Thursday at 4:30 p.m. We're doing live stream interviews with industry experts, and we produce videos that we push out every Wednesday morning. I'm Jerry from Simply Cyber. I hope you enjoyed the content, and we'll see you in the next one.
Quick note. Sorry, if you're still here, 199 of y'all sexy mofos, go get on YouTube. Go check out Daniel Lowry's IRL stream. That is going to happen in 5 minutes. I wish I had the link. I would give it to you. JMod just put it into chat. So please look for that. Go check out Daniel Lowry's stream that's happening in 5 minutes.